rabbi cut it off.
It's not too late for you to start speaking up for other children and protect children's rights. Thank you very much. The ACLU.
What's bad about that? I don't get it.
Your foreskin is like your eyelid, and it was there to protect your glans penis or glans clitoris, as every man and every woman, every child is born with a foreskin. And it is the most sensitive part of your penis. It has all the touch-sensitive nerves. So if somebody cuts that off, the glans penis becomes keratinized over time. By the time you're 50 or 60 years old, your sexual sensation is diminished so much that it will be a far cry from what you have at age in your 20s.
I didn't know that.
You know that the ACLU had an opportunity. They claim to be standing up for the civil rights of all people, but they don't stand up for the rights of children to protect their genitals. And it's shameful. Do they pay you?
No, the ACLU doesn't pay me.
You're a volunteer?
No, yeah. No, I'm not a volunteer. I'm paid by grassroots campaigns. They're contracting.
Yeah, well, so it is the ACLU.
Yeah.
It's a shame because the ACLU, the Bay Area activists had a campaign to bring awareness to this, and basically they said, F you, ACLU. The ACLU is a hypocritical organization that claims to stand up for the rights of children, but in reality it's only female children. Male children and intersex children are open for violation.
Yeah, I never really thought there being much of a right to a foreskin. I just think that the parents' right.
Why should the parents have a right to cut off part of their children's bodies, particularly part of their sexual organs?
I think there's supposed to be some good medical reasons for it.
What do you think they are?
The kid, I mean, I'm circumcised. I don't remember it.
I'm circumcised. I had horrible night terrors as a child, and I've seen circumcisions done. It's generally done without anesthetic. It was probably the worst experience of your entire life.
I don't remember it.
You're defending it on, if a woman is date raped and she's given a drug to forget, she doesn't remember either.
Very true.
This is a surgical rape that was done to us. Yeah. Your penis is going to degrade over life now, and your pleasure that you feel now is going to be, by the time you're 50 or 60, so degraded, you're not going to enjoy sex like you would have if you'd been allowed to keep your whole penis.
Well, that sucks, but I mean...
Yeah, it does. It does. Be aware. 20 years ago, people weren't aware of gay and lesbian rights, and 50 years ago, people weren't aware of civil rights. And many lives have been ruined. Many lives have been ruined by circumcision, where the whole penis is removed or burned off. And the ACLU,
that's different.
That's a fucking botched circumcision. It happens all the time. Wherever circumcision is done, there are botches. In the United States, it's a $1 billion a year industry to circumcise boys, and a huge segment of that is in trying to correct surgically the botches.
Yeah.
And you're working for the ACLU, which is a fucked up organization.
Oh, I think it's a pretty good organization.
It's a fucked up organization.
We can agree to disagree. I'm sorry about it.
I don't agree.
I mean, yeah.
The ACLU is full of shit. And you do your research. You look up ACLU, Google ACLU and circumcision, and you see what you find. And you look at some of those boys that have nothing left but a fucking pee hole and a scrotal sac instead of a penis for the rest of their life because of somebody like the ACLU. And then get a good job. Work for somebody that's doing good in the world. The ACLU is not doing it.
Good stuff.
No. You know what? If somebody says to you, I'm for human rights, but I really don't like black people. Or they say, I'm for human rights, but only for girls.
I know what you're saying, man. I hear the argument.
Yeah.
You make some good points. I just don't think it really applies. I've never really heard of many botched circumcisions. I just didn't know.
Look it up. Google it. And take a look at the pictures. And you just imagine how the lives of those people are affected. Yeah. You have a pretty good life. I have a pretty good life. David Reimer was a boy whose penis was completely burned off. When he was 38 years old, he finally had enough. Burned off because he used a cottering iron instead of a scalpel. And they actually turned it up so high, they burned his whole penis off to a shriveled thread. And they tried to make him a girl. They tried to raise him as a girl. His name is David Reimer, and he is one of many. In the Journal of Plastic Surgery, there's an article showing 5 boys that they tried to do feminizing genitoplasty on to make them girls. Many of these people take their own lives, and the ACLU has ignored everything that we have said.
But I feel like the issue there isn't circumcision, though. It's the problem.
Of course it's circumcision. Because
you can do it right, though.
It wouldn't have happened. You can't do a wrong thing.
But we got like clothes in it, and we don't run through the wild where there's thorns.
Your glands rubs against your clothes and it degrades your glands, penis.
It's fine.
The inside of your foreskin. How old are you?
19.
19. Yes, it's fine. You have a very active sex life, I'm sure. You wait till you get to be 45 or 50.
I mean, yeah, I don't know what the foreskin is. I don't feel like I'm missing something that much.
This woman here can tell you what the 16 functions of the foreskin are.
See, I'm sorry, man. I appreciate that you're trying to speak up for your cause. I'll look up some stuff.
I'm an angry man because of what was done to me, and I'm angry that individuals like yourself, who's obviously a kind and good-thinking person, wanting to do good in the world, is blinded by what happens in this country, which is the mentality is the same as what was done to other people, to tell people they're better because they're straight or they're better because they're white.
I just didn't know it was bad. I didn't know it did much harm.
It's a very harmful.
I've never heard anybody tell me that before.
Every circumcision is harmful. Every circumcision is harmful. The same way if they cut your eyelids off, that would be harmful. But if you lived in a culture where everyone's eyelids were cut, you'd think you were normal. That's exactly what this is.
But then your eye wouldn't work right.
Your penis doesn't work right either. Your penis is supposed to have a moving part.
It works.
How do you masturbate?
What do you mean? What? It works just fine.
On a man, the most mobile skin on his body is on his penis, unless somebody has cut that off. And that's for your pleasure. That was for your pleasure and for your partner's pleasure.
I can see how it would be useful, but I get around it. I figure it out.
You make do. We make do with less. We make do with what somebody has done to us.
But isn't it supposed to be helpful for STDs or something? Not having it.
If you go to Europe, countries that don't circumcise, they have lower rates of STDs than we do in the United States. The United States has the highest.
Like it doesn't.
The USA has the highest rate of AIDS, the highest rate of STDs or STIs, and the highest rate of circumcision. It's bullshit. It's promoted by a circumcising cabal of a few people who make $1 billion a year on this.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, well, I gotta get back to work for the ACLU, man.
Too bad about the ACLU. You'll see, the ACLU will be exposed just like other so-called human rights organizations that in fact don't stand up for human rights. Human rights are supposed to be for all humans, not just some.
I mean, yeah, I see where you're coming from. I get the argument. I just didn't know. I still don't think of it that much as a bad thing. Like
you can't. You have cognitive dissonance, which is what most circumcised people, male and female, have. Women who have been cut, they say the same thing. What's the big deal? I can still climb peaks. I can still have sex. As if less is okay. You wouldn't say that about your eyesight. If somebody gave you an operation when you were born and it degraded your eyesight. But I'll tell you that human nature is you would defend it. You'd say, I don't need to see that much because everything would be too sharp.
I get the analogy. I get where you're coming from. Something in my brain is not connecting.
It's called cognitive dissonance. Look it up. It's the same thing as when you buy something very expensive, you must support your decision because you don't want to admit a mistake, and especially when someone else does that to you.
I know what you're saying.
It's child abuse to cut off body parts.
I mean,
it's child abuse.
You've just been talking to one of the leading intactivists in the world. You should feel very honored.
I'm sorry I'm so angry, but we have had...
Oh, no, it's fine. What I mind more is just that I got to get back to my job soon. But, no. You articulated your point better than I think it could have. I would not have guessed that. And,
it's part of the prejudice, you know, and it's a prejudice that's...